Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Sunny Kabrawala, who is the founder of Space Technology and Aeronautical Rocketry, or in short called as STAR. So just to give you a perspective of what STAR is, it has launched 67 high-power rockets till now and launched some satellites as well. So, hi Sunny, welcome to Entrepreneurial Launch of India.
Hello, Priya Ranjan. Thank you so much for for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to your audience. Thank you so much. Really excited for this interview.
Sunny, even I am very excited because for the first time we are witnessing someone who has worked in the space industry. Normally, what we see here is founders of companies which is into internet or into marketing, these sort of things. But not every day we come across people working into space technology. So very excited. Sunny, would like to start with what is star or what is space technology and aeronautical rocketry? Can you tell us a bit?
For sure. So, we live in a country where every other kid aspire to be an astronaut, right? And everyone want to be a space pioneer. We always wonder about the creation of this beautiful universe, but when it comes to professional life, a lot of people compromise on their dreams. The reason is they don't have a right platform where they can pursue their dream of being a space pioneer. So, in 2014, 15, we started Star as a rocket club in Surat with an intention to just, learn how to build small scale rockets. Then now we have scaled up to a private limited firm. So the vision of Star is to make space missions commercial and more economical. Like we should not need a huge amount of money to put anything into space. So we are working on making that dream possible, and we also believe that space is for everyone. So there was a time where people used to believe that space is just for engineers, scientists, or people who are from the elite institution. But in reality, space is for everyone. It do not depends on it doesn't depend on your academic background or or your financial background. If you are passionate about space, you can be a part of this industry. Along with that, like we are into space, we are into two verticals right now. First is space education, where we provide project-based learning experience to students on rocket building. Like they can come to our platform, they can design, build, and launch their rockets. And along with that, we are into space research, where we are building a lot of space products.
Right. So, Sunny, my next question is since you mentioned space is for everyone, but in past 100 years or so, we have seen spaces for and mostly dominated by government agencies. Only very recently, Amazon and Elon Musk are entering into the space technology. So, when you mention space is for everyone, I would like to ask what are the things everyone can achieve with the space technology? What is it? What is there for the common man to explore the space technology?
Okay, so if let's go back in the times when the Apollo mission was carried out, when the first human was sent to moon. So the memory size of the flight computer which was used for that particular rocket Saturn V was just 64 KB. Imagine, today's calculators are more powerful than the flight computers which were used in the Apollo mission. So the thing is, when a lot of people works on a technology starts evolving. It becomes more compact. It becomes more simple, more easy. A couple of decades back, when Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos started working on their ventures named SpaceX and Blue Origin, people used to believe that space is never going to get privatized. Like it is always going to be get dominated by the government companies. But in fact, if you see the statistics today, the number of launches which are being performed in the world, the most of the launches are being done by the private companies. And even SpaceX is serving NASA by providing the rockets. So things now, tables are turned and things have been changed now. And in our if you talk about at students level, a lot of students and universities are building small scale satellites and they are putting things into space. You might have seen a size of satellite in a picture. The satellites before used to be as big as a car, but now you can make a small satellite which you can carry in your pocket as well, and those satellites are called CubeSats and pocket cubes. So they can be launched to space, and anyone can build it. So because of the evolvement that came into the fabrication technology, into the electronics and other material science, now people and now things have become more cheaper and more efficient. So now students are able to build their own space tech, and they are able to carry out experiments in space by launching things into space.
Uh, Understood, Sunny, but I still did not get a clarity on what usefulness does it carry for a common man. I understand students can do experiment with satellites, cube size satellites, but what is the value a common man can get by venturing into, or let's say I'll buy a satellite of my own. Is that even possible? And if it is possible, what can I achieve through it?
Okay, so like we use space technology in day-to-day life, like for communication, for broadcasting, for internet, for even predicting the weather. So a lot of things are now getting connected with space tech, and like we cannot get separated or isolated from space technology if we are tech savvy person. So space technology is now is there in our day-to-day life, and those small satellites and the other things which are being built for earth observation or for providing the communication and broadcasting facilities are being some like have made all the applications much cheaper. So before this, the cost of the internet was very high, but now you can see the cost of internet has dropped down, right? Before, to predict the weather, it was difficult because you had limited satellites in space. But now you have got a lot of small satellites which are continuously monitoring the weather of the particular region. So it directly and indirectly it affects the life of the common people. If we talk about the space exploration, now I talked about the space application. Now let's talk about space exploration. Like the way we are using resources on our planet, it's for sure that in millions or billions of years, Earth is going to become next Mars, like a dead planet, right? And Mars can become next Earth, like a livable planet. So the existence of the intelligent life in our solar system depends on what happens first. पहले मार्स को अर्थ बनाया बनाया जा रहा है, या तो अर्थ पहले मार्स बनेगा, वो है, ठीक है. So to save humanity, and humans are not tend to be there on just one rock. We have to spread humanity everywhere in the solar system so that we remain safe and our existence remains in this universe. So that's the reason space application and exploration both are important.
That is a very interesting perspective, which you shared. Whether Earth will become Mars, or Mars will become Earth, which will happen first. Very interesting. Although I'm not from the space field, but I'm getting curious. I'm getting more curious to ask you questions regarding space. But since our channel is based on the personal journey of an entrepreneur, so I will try to restrict myself till this point. Now we will get into the personal side of becoming an entrepreneur. I would like to ask, when did you think of starting your own venture, and that too in space technology? When did it hit your head, and how did you start it? How was your financial runway managed, and how did your family react to it? How were your initial days?
Okay, so like this is going to be a long answer because a lot of questions are there into one. So I never thought to be an entrepreneur. I never knew this term or the meaning of the word entrepreneur when I actually started. In 2015, I was just like, and since my childhood, like when I was 10-year-old, I was always passionate about space. I used to build a lot of small scale projects at my home from scratch. As I grew up, it became my dream to be an aerospace engineer, but I could not pursue my dream of being an aerospace engineer because I was completely messing up with my studies. I got just 60% grades in my 10th. In 11th, I failed in physics. In 12th, I got 42% score. So it was not, like enough for me to get into any institution where the aerospace engineering exists. So I always wanted to work for ISRO at that time. But again, in my college days, I was messing with my studies, and I got failed in a lot of subjects. So I could not be a part of ISRO. But one thing that came in my mind was that when you want to explore sky, you just need to go on terrace and look at the sky. Sky is never going to hide itself by telling that you don't have a degree of aerospace, aeronautics, or astrophysics, right? It's open for everyone to explore. So in 2015, I and a few of my classmates decided to, make a small club in Surat where we could perform a few small scale launches. We tried out and we built 36 rockets, all failed at that time. We didn't have a working space, so we used to work at gardens, and like every Sunday or once in a week we used to meet in gardens, and we used to do a lot of discussion on astronomy, astrophysics, these things. In 2016, we started working on a small scale project in which we failed building it. And I personally went to a lot of schools to do outreach program because I wanted people to get into this industry. But none of them gave me opportunity to interact with students because they were not taking us serious at that time. But in 2016, in the month of December, I along with five classmates, we went to one of the center of ISRO in Dehradun, where those girls won the best paper presentation award for presenting their work at ISRO. So that motivated us, and that proved us that you don't need to be an IITian or an IITian to be a space pioneer. If you are from local college, you can do that. So this is how we got started. In 2017, we got incubated by my college, and in that year I came to know about this word startup and entrepreneurship. So I started planning a lot of merchandise and a lot of things. Now and we launched a small CANSI satellite up to 500 meters, and we got a letter from NASA engineer. So that was the first mission that we carried out. In 2018, then now people started, we started finding our customers because there were a lot of students who wanted to learn about rockets. They wanted to learn about satellites, and people believe that this is difficult thing. Our goal was to make everything simple for them. So this is how it came. And if you talk about my family, they always supported me and my vision every time. Like I belong to a financially average settled family, and they never forced me to do a job or to go for some other work. The risk in this industry is more, but they always supported me, and they always helped me out to find out the solutions for each and every step that I was facing during my journey. Sorry for the long answer.
That is fine. One part of the question was, how did you manage the finances? How was your financial runway when you started? How did you build this venture? Where from the funds came? Anything on
Uh,
that?
to be to be frank, we started with an investment of 0 rupee, and till date we have bootstrapped this. Now I'll tell you how what we did this. We had a good knowledge of building rockets. We had a good experience of failing many times, so we used those experience in teaching to students. We started doing workshops and training programs where we used to go to students and we used to teach them. We used to charge just 20 rupees from students, and that is how we started. From 20 rupee per student we started, and then all the revenue which was generated, we used to put in building new stuff, like improvising our rocket designs. And when we used to improvise something, like innovate something, we used to teach other things to students. So this is how we used to evolve our courses every time. So this is how we started. We like at that time I didn't know this concept of bootstrapping. Like I came to know about this like 3 years back, and but we were following that particular strategy at that time. So the revenue which was being generated, we were completely putting that revenue into research work. At that time, we didn't have to pay rent and the electricity bill because we were incubated at my college. So we were just focusing on building space products. Now we have completed 4.5 years of our journey. Until date, we have completely bootstrapped this, and we are a very big team right now.
Okay. So my next question is, Surat. So far, your operation has been in Surat. So, Surat as a city, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are coming out of this particular city. Very recently, I have met more than three founders of different companies uh, hailing from Surat. So, what is it in Surat, and why you have chosen this city to be your base of operations? So you could have chosen Mumbai or Delhi, where the audience pool is higher. You can generate more revenue and maybe possibly meet your investors. Why Surat? What is it about Surat?
Okay, so there are two reasons behind this. One is I was born and brought up in Surat, so I've always been in Surat. I was studying in Surat, so I had a good network here. If you talk about Surat startup ecosystem, it's not so matured right now. But let me tell you one thing: people in our ecosystem are so supportive and they are so like collaborative in nature. They always think of collaborating with other ventures and helping them out to grow and finding them out to find out the customers. So so this is how I when I started my journey, I used to attend a lot of startup events and I used to interact and network with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I always used to learn from them. One good thing about Surat is we don't have a corporate life here. We have a very free culture here. So if even a boss of a company is standing in front of you, you can go to him anytime and you can, have a tea with them and have a good discussion. So they always are open for any kind of discussions. Even the investors in Surat, even the great leaders in Surat, they are always there to discuss things with you. They will never see that at what level of entrepreneurship you are at right now. So they always helped us out in throughout our journey, and that's the reason Surat is getting a lot of startups now. And the second reason is, if you see, like if we would have gone to Bangalore or any other city, we would have got a lot of students on board, and even they would have paid us more, way more than the students here in Surat. But one good thing about Star is we are not much focusing on the profits or the revenues that we get every year. Like we always focused on reaching out to as many students as possible and just providing them a project based and a quality education that they need. Like a lot of students, they approach us that they do not have a good financial background and they cannot afford the course. So for them, we make these courses free of cost every time. Even for the internship programs, we provide them this scholarship, 100% scholarship to the students who cannot pay. There are few students who are not so financially, in bad condition, but if they do not want to pay right now, what we do is they give them an offer. You can attend the whole course, and after that, you can pay the amount that you want to pay. So for us, what is important is serving people. The students should learn something new from us. If they do not learn something new from us, we won't take a single amount from them. So this is a good value that we have created in our company, and which is completely helping us out to scale up our company in the next level. And this is a very beautiful thing, and that's the reason we feel like so much positive to work at Star.
Right. Now I'll get into the usual course of questions. Would like to ask, how did you find your co-founder and your team? How did you scout them?
Okay, so I was asked about this question, few weeks back. Like, yeah, that interviewer asked me that, how did you find your Robin? Like every Batman have a Robin, right? So the same answer I'll give, that I have got no Robin when I started this start. Like we are like Avengers. We got assembled throughout the journey. So I met all my co-founders throughout my journey. Like few I met 3 years back, few met just a couple of years back. So they joined us as an intern and then they contributed so well. And the ethics and the culture of the company, that was the most important thing for me. So then I decided to make them a permanent part of the team, and that is how we have got right now 7 leaders on board who are operating this company.
So now I would like to ask you, uh, based on what you had planned initially or dreamed initially, how far have you reached in terms of milestones, and where is your end point? What is your vision?
So there is no end point as of now. Like we have got the vision of making space missions commercial, like building space rockets, and that can be a launch vehicle for putting small satellites to space at the low Earth orbit, and building the products for Mars missions. Like we are not planning to send humans to Mars, but we are planning to support the industries by providing them the technologies which can help humans to sustain their life on Mars. And I guess like Star is not just a company; it's a legacy that we have created. So every decade, the new leader will be there. Every time the new leader will be putting up the new vision, which will be carry forwarded. So till I am there in the company, I can say that I have a vision of making space missions commercial by building launch vehicles for the small satellites. And in the terms of how far we have reached, like we started with from the space education. So like we had no specific goal of reaching out to this many number of students, but a year back we decided that by 2024 we'll be reaching out to 1 million students, that's 10 lakh students, by providing them the project-based learning experience on rocket technology and building them. And like we're targeting the first launch to space by the year 2024 or 2025 right now. I cannot give any commitment regarding that as of now because the project is ongoing and still a long way to go to perform all the research.
Now, would like to know what are the challenges you faced along the way, and which of the challenges you couldn't foresee when you started.
Okay, so like even after 20 years or 30 years, if someone asked me that what was the best part of the star, and it was all the challenges that I faced. And I would like to embrace all the challenges that I faced and still I am facing. Like when I started, one of the challenges that I faced was a lot of, terminologies which a businessman uses generally. I was completely unknown with those terminologies. I belong to an engineering background. So whenever I used to attend startup events, and whenever I used to interact with entrepreneurs, they used to use those terminologies which were difficult for me to understand. So that
Can
was one
you
of
give
the things I
example?
was all. Uh, USP is one of them,
Okay.
and bootstrapping was also one of them. So it was difficult for me at that time to predict things, but I always used to not like this. And after returning back to home, I used to search on internet what he actually meant to say. But in fact, like there was a time when for 3 to 4 months we didn't get a single work to do, and we didn't have any knowledge of cash flow of maintaining the finance sheet and other things. So the money that used to the revenue we used to generate, we used to put everything into research very aggressively. We never used to maintain our bank balance. So what happened? There was a time when we didn't have any work and we didn't have any money to do anything. So we were just, going to the laboratory and sitting there. We used to read about these various space missions. But there was a time where all the team members got a lot of time to interact with each other and to make good relations. And when you're working on rockets, you obviously face a lot of technical challenges of building them because this is something like we build everything in house, including flight computers, the rocket engines, the test mechanisms for the rockets, the launch pads, controllers, everything we build in house. So we build failures on at every step of research. So that's a thing we have got tuned with. So that's another thing. If you see, then we failed at one point when we our contract with our university got completed for 2 years of incubation, and then we were suddenly told to shift from the college. At that time, I had no plans regarding how would I scale up now. So I was fumbled and I was completely, wobbling at that time. Now, what should I do? And at that time, I realized that being an entrepreneur, I should always think of, all negative things that can happen, and I should be ready. I should be prepared for those things as well, and rather than just being positive about things. So, and yes, one of the challenges was, training your team members because and this is an industry where students have got no experience of working in space for space products, right? So I had to train them during the initial days from zero so that they can work on space products and they can make them perfect and they can also keep safety and other protocols in their mind. So these were the challenges we faced. I could not recall all the challenges right now. I don't know why, but I'm really sorry.
No problem. Who is your role model when it comes to entrepreneurship? Who inspires you? Don't tell me it is Elon Musk.
I admire him. Like he is a good example of like he's someone whom everyone should look up to because he never is afraid of taking risk. He always believe in taking risk. But as a human, if I follow someone, then he is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir. The reason is and all the people who worked actually during the initial days of ISRO, because at that time there was no one who was working for space industry in our country, and Vikram Sarabhai sir, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, and Satish Dhawan sir, and other scientists also they took that initiative. They were the torchbearers of our industry, and they really worked hard to grow the India as a community of space in on the world map. So I really admire them as a human. I follow Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir a lot because he lived a very simple life and he was a great visionary and he always inspired students. And I like him. I also like to talk to students. So as he wanted people to remember him as a teacher, even I want that people should remember me as a good teacher.
I think that is a very interesting perspective. Uh, Great thing. Uh, Now, would like to know, how do you compare entrepreneurship with a 9 to 5 job? I shouldn't be asking this question to you because you have never been to a job, a real-time job. But if you know anything, you can share anything on this.
Yep, sure. So I guess if you're working, if you're doing a work that you love to do, it doesn't matter that whether you are doing a 9 to 5 or you have your own venture. What I believe is that whatever work you do, be loyal with your work. Like for example, if I join a company and if I am doing a job there, I should be loyal with my work. I should not think that I am here and I'll only work for 9 to 5 because I am being paid for just that 9 to 5 thing. I will work and I will give my best so that the company can grow. So if you are doing a work that you love to do, then it doesn't matter if you're into 9 to 5 or your startup journey. But if you are not doing the work that you love to do, even if you have your own startup, you will feel that stress. Even if you work in 9 to 5, you will feel that stress. So it's independent of the thing that you're, if you're working with someone else or if you're working for someone else. The main thing is you should love the work that you do and you should do the work that you love to do. That's it.
Hmm, right. I think we are almost up with the time. Would like to know one last thing. How do you suggest our audience to start their entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, so I tell two things. Like first is just be you. Don't try to copy any of the startups which have left their footprints behind. Just be you, and like everyone should have a role model, and everyone can learn the ethics and principle of someone who have inscribed in their life. But if you talk about having your own startup, then you should build your own vision and you should have your own roadmap for that. So be yourself and don't try to there's no perfect recipe to build a startup. So invent your own recipe and come up with a good idea and which can serve humanity. And
Hmm,
whenever you are thinking about startup, one thing should be there in your mind is about serving people. Don't focus on generating revenue or profitability and other things. Those things are actually the byproducts. The only thing that you have in your hand is how can you serve people.
hmm,
Another thing is, now this is an advice for all the people, not just for the aspiring entrepreneurs, but everyone who are watching this video right now on YouTube.
hmm,
uh, Whenever we see Apple, we remember Steve Jobs. Whenever we see Microsoft, we remember Bill Gates. And whenever we see missiles, we remember Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir.
hmm,
Every youth should ask themselves one question, and that is what I call the $1 million question, that what you will be remembered for. So when you will find answer for this question, you will figure out that what you need to do with your life and you will find your purpose of your life. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much.
right. It's called building legacy. I think a lot of entrepreneurs I meet, they say the same thing. What drives them is they want to leave a legacy or a footprint after they are gone. So I think we have uh, left a lovely message for our audience. Anything else you would like to share with us before we end the session?
Yep. So, like, I would like to thank you personally because you are doing an amazing job. I saw a few of your interviews and they were really interesting. And an entrepreneur have a quality of learning from everyone. So there should not be an ego from like, why should I learn from other entrepreneurs? It's all about sharing and it's all about experiencing things. So thank you so much for taking this initiative and for for keeping your audience engaged even during the time of pandemic. This is a wonderful initiative. This is a selfless initiative that you have taken, and I wish you all luck for your future. and looking forward to meet you very soon after the end of the pandemic.
Likewise, and thank you.
Honored. Okay.
Uh, so, before we end, I'd like to leave the last message to our audience. Viewers, you can follow and connect with Sunny on LinkedIn by searching for Sunny Kabrawala. You can also visit Star website by typing Star Lab Surat. So, whom do you want to have here at ELI for next episode? Do let me know in comments below. We will be back before you know it. Stay tuned to Entrepreneur Launch of India.